A Step Toward Freedom. Story by Katherine Follett. Illustrations by Rick Whipple. Chapter 1. Back in Washington. I smelled ham frying and eggs cooked with pepper and chives, and for a moment I could have sworn it was still summer. But something about the air, a smell of river and bricks and busyness, wasn't quite right. When I opened my eyes, the window was in the wrong place, and the light was different. It shone with a watery hue instead of the valley green of a Tennessee summer. I sat up in bed. "Louisa!" Mother called, her voice hitting a high note. I shook away the last bits of sleep and finally realized where I was. In my own bedroom, but in Washington, D.C., after having spent the summer with Grandma and Grandpa in Nashville. I was back in the city to go to school and live with Mother and Papa and their employer, Mr. McKellar, or I should say, Senator McKellar. I got up and began to get dressed. I couldn't say which I liked better, Washington, D.C. or Nashville, though when people asked where I was from, I said Tennessee. When I went back to Tennessee after school finished up, it always felt great to live at Grandma and Grandpa's house. It was good to hear music and eat hot country food and spend long summer hours chasing the spot of shade under the oak tree where I liked to read. But by the end of the summer, I was just about done with sitting around and getting bug bites. And I thought to myself, when can I go back to Washington to see Mother and Papa? When will I get to be with people who dress smartly and walk as though they have someplace important to be? Because they do. And here I was on that first fresh morning, and though I was excited, I couldn't shake that dreamy summer feeling. "Hurry, Louisa, or there won't be time for breakfast," Mother called. I tugged as much of my hair as I could into 2 braids and hopped into the kitchen. "We're all running a bit late this morning. We have to get used to having you around again," Mother said, kissing my forehead and handing me a plate of food. The enormous kitchen table was still piled high with the things I hadn't put away since I arrived, so I stood at the back doorway to eat while Mother rushed around, finishing the morning's cooking and cleaning. "School's just about started by now. Your father might have to ask the senator if he can take you in the car," she said. In Washington, we lived with Mr. McKellar in the servants' quarters, which were 2 small rooms and a washroom off the kitchen at the back of his house. That was another difference between Washington and Tennessee that I sometimes liked and sometimes didn't. We were cramped here in this tiny part of a city building, but I loved walking to and from Mr. McKellar's home along the elegant avenues, seeing the gas lanterns and lights and neighbors on all sides. I also enjoyed the odd company of living with Mr. McKellar himself, with Mother being something like his caretaker as well as his maid, and Papa being something like his friend as well as his chauffeur. I sometimes got carried away with thinking of him as a rich and famous bachelor uncle. Several times Mr. McKellar had said I was welcome to read in his study while he was at the Capitol, but Mother always gave me a look and shook her head no. She always reminded me that he was our boss, not our relative, and we needed to keep to ourselves in his home. I nudged open the screen door with my toe to let in the smell of herbs from the kitchen garden. Over the low fence was the neighbor's identical little garden, and on the stoop sat a little girl of about 7 named Eleanor. She was the daughter of the neighbor's maid. She stared at me, big-eyed and quiet as she always did. I waved, but she just stared, too shy to say anything. Then again, I was too shy to speak very often either. I heard Mother murmuring behind me, "You think the senator will mind if you take Louisa to school?" "As long as we drop him off first. She's not the only one running late this morning." Papa's voice came from the kitchen, rumbling loud and deep. I heard his big shoes on the floor coming up behind me, and he took a plait of my hair in each hand and tugged. "Morning, Belle," he said. "Morning, Papa," I said, giving him a kiss on the cheek. His tall frame was wrapped crisply and carefully in his slate-gray driving clothes, with a long coat, creased trousers, tight collar, and shiny shoes. He looked handsome in his uniform, especially at the wheel of Mr. McKellar's beautiful car. "Hello, little one," he boomed to the little girl next door. A shy grin appeared.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?